Hi everybody, it's Amy with My Learning Garden here in Oregon, Gardening Zone 8B. Today is a kind of exciting day. I get to transplant some of my tomato plants, actually probably most of them. I've been growing them indoor underneath my indoor lighting system and they are doing amazing. I did these seeds, I started the seeds on February 18th. Today is March 21st. And if I take a look at some of these seedlings, they are doing amazing. They're about 3 inches tall. Some of them are a little bit taller, about 4 inches tall. This variety that I have here in the first 2 rows is I have a Kellogg's Breakfast tomato and then I have the Cherokee Purple. These are absolutely hands down my favorite tomatoes. I got these last year. I actually picked them up at a farmer's market and they are delicious. They are some of the sweetest tomatoes that you will ever have. They're an heirloom tomato. The Kellogg's Breakfast is this beautiful yellow, orangey tomato. Super, super sweet. The Cherokee Purple, it's red, obviously, but the inside kind of has a little bit of purple and green coloring to it. What I did quite a bit last year was I ended up cutting them up into like big cubes, and then I would put mozzarella cheese and balsamic vinegar, olive oil, a little bit salt and pepper. Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. The family absolutely loved it. I actually had a little get-together party with some friends and they gobbled it up. I ended up having to go back out to the garden and pick more and make more, so it was kind of funny. So the seedlings have been indoors underneath the grow lights, and today I want to transplant them. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to transplant them into styrofoam cups. I use styrofoam cups just because they're not biodegradable and you get to use them year after year. So I used these styrofoam cups last year. This one had peas in it last year. You want to poke holes in the bottom. I do 4 little drainage holes in the bottom. You can use a pencil. I think I used a nail. I already have these pre-labeled. This is my Kellogg's Breakfast tomato. Dirty fingernails. So I started the seedlings on February 18th. Today is March 21st and I am transplanting them. And then they will stay in these styrofoam cups indoors probably for, if I had to guess, maybe another week or 2 weeks. Here in Oregon, it's still what my kids like to call drunk weather. The weather just needs to go home. It's drunk. We had beautiful 60-degree sunny weather, absolutely gorgeous blue skies. And then all of a sudden today it's, in the 50s, raining and super, super cold. So we're going to do our seedlings or keep them inside a little bit longer. We want to transplant our tomatoes when it's a little bit warmer, more in the 60 to 70 degree weather. In Oregon, it doesn't really get up to 70 degrees until we're closer to May or June. But my goal is to try to get these planted in the middle of April, towards the end of April. So what I am going to do is I am going to take my tomato transplants that have been growing in Jiffy peat pellets. These are super cool. They're actually really fun for kids too. You put them in water, they expand. These are the 3-inch pellets, and you can see all the healthy roots that are actually coming out of this mesh. When I do the transplanting, I actually take that mesh off. I found last year, I don't know, I just looked at it and I thought, is the roots really going to grow through? It's growing through now, but I wanted to give these little seedlings the best chance ever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the seedling off, or the meshing off. It comes off super, super easy. I'm going to try to do this one-handed so I can at least show you what it looks like. But we pull off the meshing. And then when we look at this, you can see all the roots that are actually coming out. So when we talked in the last video about the seedlings and these tomatoes, the things that you want to look for is these 2 bottom leaves. I'll turn it around this way. These 2 bottom leaves, these are the original seedling leaves. The ones that are on top, these are the true leaves. True leaves, they actually look like the real tomato leaf plant. So what we want to do is we want to pinch off these tiny little original seedling leaves. And then what we're going to do is, in this cup, I have about 1 inch of soil on the bottom of it. And I only have 1 inch of soil because I have 3 inches of soil right here. And if we zoom in just a little bit, you can see those tiny little hairs that are on the stem of the tomato plant, those want to be roots. So as soon as I plant this in the cup, I'm going to add soil to it, and everything that touches those little hairs are going to turn into roots. It's going to give you a taller and stronger, more productive plant when you do that. So I'm going to put it down here in the bottom of my cup. Just give it a little smush. I'm going to try to center it as much as I can. And then I'm going to take some of my seedling mix. This is Jiffy seedling mix. And with the Jiffy seedling mix, it's super, super dry. So I just put mine in an old bowl that I'm not using anymore. It's a gigantic pasta bowl. And I add, I don't know, I probably had half a bag of seedling mix, and then I ended up adding maybe a half a gallon of water to it. And I just let it soak for about 5-10 minutes so that all of the seedling mix absorbs that water. So what I'm doing with the seedling now is I'm packing it in, trying to keep it as centered as possible. You want to pack it in because you don't want any air pockets in there. I have heard with on videos and some other research on Pinterest that if there's air pockets, it can lead to pest or mold. You just don't want that. So YouTube said not to do it, so I'm not doing it. So what I am doing is I am packing the soil in as far as I possibly can. I'm going to get this to about 1/4 of an inch from the top of the cup. I want to cover up as much of the stem as possible, because everywhere that dirt touches, those little fine hairs, that's going to turn into roots, and that's what I want. A little bit more. I always feel like I have to be super, super delicate with these, but they're stronger than we think. But I still want to be super delicate with it. Like I got that one little leaf underneath there. I don't like that. I feel like the seedling's screaming at me. Stop! Okay, so I am packing in, and you can see that water coming up on there. That's okay. It will eventually dry up and drain out, but I want to make sure that that seedling mix is completely moist. It's going to help your seedling out, and you're not going to have to water for a couple of days. So I have my seedling all planted, and you can see, remember, if we look at one of the peat pellets, ugh, it's all tangled up over here. If we look at that, it so wants to be planted. You can see how tall it is. So if we look at this one, I've planted it about to right here in the cup. I'll clean up this dirt just because it's messy and I don't like a messy room. So I'm going to do this to this entire tray. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe 8 different varieties of tomatoes. I talked in one of the previous videos, I really didn't want to have 40 tomato plants. Well, I don't have 40 tomato plants, I have 38 this year. So I am going to continue on planting up or transplanting all of these tomato transplants. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will give you updates. I actually will be doing another video here shortly on the peas that I took from the indoor grow light system and planted those outside. They're actually doing really, really well. I'm really excited to show you those. So I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Again, like and subscribe.